Hi friends, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you that might be new here, hi, welcome. My name is Megan and today we have a what sold video. This is going to be what sold for the last week in my in my small business. So essentially June 16th-ish through today, which is June 23rd. I do have sales to share with you from last week for Poshmark, eBay, and Depop. If you are new here, I'll pop a photo right here on the screen of the item we're chatting about in case one, I didn't put it in a haul, or two, maybe you missed it. I will also be reading to you my full SEO title so you can get a feel of the keywords and phrases that I use to help sell each item. I do cross-post all of my items to all of my platforms, which are Poshmark, eBay, Depop, and Mercari, and I use NIFTY to do that. There is a 15% off discount code in the description of this video for 15% off your first month of NIFTY if you have never tried it and would like to. 15% off in the description below. I will also be sharing with you what each item sold for, what I will earn after platform fees and cost of goods, how long each item was listed before it sold, so how many days it took for each item to sell, and whether or not I would pick the item up again if I'm outsourcing, and what's the absolute most I would pay for the item if it wasn't a bins find. We're going to start with Depop, and the first Depop sale I have to share, Patagonia summer dress, hemp cotton, A-line, sleeveless, pocket dress, gray, size 4. They sold for $35. I will make $32. It took 65 days to sell. Would I pick it up again? Yes, but only at the bins. I wouldn't pick up this dress at a regular thrift store, even though it is Patagonia and it was a hemp blend. I just would leave it for a bins find. Next Depop sale, Gramici nylon hiking pants, gray. Cool, I put nylon twice, don't do that. Gramici nylon hiking pants, gray, nylon, outdoor, Gorpcore, active, belted pants, size large. Sold for $36. I will make $34. They took 36 days to sell. Would I pick them up again? Yes, but I would leave this as well for just a bins pickup. Next Depop sale, David Rose Knight Velvet Gothic Sheer Blouse, Victorian, size large. Sold for $23. I will make $21. This took 15 days to sell. Would I pick it up again? Yes, again, but only at the bins. This particular blouse was 100% a style-based pickup. I did not pick it up for the brand, but for what it looked like, and I thought it would do well on Depop. And indeed it did. Next Depop sale, Jimmy Choo leopard calf hair sandals, slingback stiletto heels, size 36.5. They sold for $110. I will make $103. They sold in 11 days. Would I pick these up again? Yes, I would. I would pay up to $15 for them. However, if they were a half size smaller, I might have left them behind. I feel like 36 is like just a hair too small. 36.5 in 11 days. This was a very quick turnaround. So 36.5 I think is the smallest size I am willing to pick up in designer shoes, unless they are Chanel or Hermes, something very desirable or a luxury. I think I would have passed on these if they were a hair smaller. All that being said, if I didn't say already, I would pay up to $15 for these at a regular thrift store. And if I sound funny, I'm sorry. I sound funny in my own head. I have a cold. I've been sick for like a week, and this is another what sold video. I know we just did a what sold video, but I've been so tired, and it's like more of like a head thing. It's like lots of sinus pressure, and like I said, I sound weird to myself, so if I sound strange, I'm sorry. Next Depop sale, Moonbeams vintage floral peasant mini dress, pink cottagecore prairie, size small. This sold for $20. I will make $17. I probably received over 15 offers for this on Depop alone, a ton of questions, and it was almost always the same question, is this sheer? So I did end up putting that, I think, in the description after I received that question so many times. It took 7 days to sell. Would I buy this again? Yes, I would, but I would only pick it up at the bins. This was a 100% style-based pickup that I picked up specifically with Depop in mind. And before we move on to the next Depop sale, I actually wanted to chat with you about Depop for just a second. I've received quite a few questions in my recent videos about Depop and how to make sales on Depop X, Y, and Z. And the best thing that I can say, especially from being on calls with Depop's team, is to be consistent on Depop. And consistency can mean whatever that means for you. It's because, someone over here might be listing 150 things every week. That doesn't mean that needs to be your consistency. It could be literally listing 3 new things a day, but you do it every single day. And I feel like that's something each individual person, especially if you are a full-time reseller, will have to figure out for themselves. For me right now, I was doing 12 a day, and I found I wasn't able to meet that consistently. So I shifted it to 12 a day, but I don't draft the 12 for that day every day. I am drafting 10 for a day. So essentially I'm listing 10 a day, and then the extra 2 throughout the week go to the weekend, and I'm having, 5 or 6 go up a day on the weekends, and those are all brand new listings. This is not counting anything that's being relisted by NIFTY. I don't know. I also am a person who I have ADD, and I cannot do, I can't just sit down and be like, okay, today, Monday, I'm doing all of my listings through the week and drafting them all so I don't have to think about it. I'm just not that type of person. I don't have the mental capacity to just do a task like that all day long, or for even like more than, we'll say, 3 hours. I struggle to do the same task, and I don't care if it's something I enjoy. It's still something I struggle with. So for me, I've kind of figured out, 12 a day, Monday through Friday, but only 10 go live for the weekdays, and then those other ones are kind of pushed out through to the weekend. I hope I explained that well. I feel like I'm not explaining it well, but all of that to say, whatever consistency looks like for you, that is my biggest piece of advice. And that is, too, coming directly from Depop. Essentially, they say they see your listings, and Depop's algorithm kind of sees your listings as an ad. And every time you post a new listing, it's an ad on Depop, and that's a chance to get people, reel them in. Essentially, it's like you're fishing. You're reeling them in to come to look at your store, and perhaps this listing that you put up, maybe that's not the item they're going to buy, but now they're attracted to your store and they're looking through all of your other items, and they might purchase something that way. And Depop's thinking, and the logical thinking, I think too, if you're seeing your listings as an ad, is you don't want to put them all out in like 1 hour. You don't want, if you're watching TV, you don't want to put your ads, your commercials on TV all in 1 hour. You want to spread them out throughout the day and catch different people that might be watching TV. So essentially, you want to catch different people that might be on Depop at different points of the day. And when I schedule my listings, I typically have them starting around 5 o'clock my time in the morning and then ending at 8. So I spread them out evenly throughout that time. And 8 my time is still 6 o'clock California time, but it is 10 o'clock East Coast time. So, that's all kinds of different people, just geographically, time-wise, that you might have a chance of getting if you're listing things consistently throughout the day. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, back to the sales. Next Depop sale, BB Dragon embroidered platform slide sandals, black Y2K, McBling, 90s, size 7. These will for $35. I will make $32. They took 3 days to sell. Would I buy these again? Yes, I would, but only at the bins. I did find these at the bins early last week and they took 3 days to sell, but when I saw them, I was like, yes, perfect for Depop. And I was very happy to find out they were actually a Y2K style and not like a newer remake of one of those styles. I picked them up specifically for Depop, so I'm very happy they sold on Depop. Next Depop sale, Abercrombie & Fitch satin slip tank, new with tags, dusty blue, minimalist. See, you have to read your titles back because that doesn't make any sense. Why would I put new with tags twice? Don't do that. Size medium. This sold for $23. I will make $20. This took 12 days to sell. Would I buy this again? No, I wouldn't unless it was a bins find. I find Abercrombie is tricky to resell unless you have like a blogger favorite piece or something like that. I have hit and miss luck with Abercrombie. Next Depop sale, Colt Naked sheer jungle trousers in black, size medium. These will for $54. I will make $50. They took 334 days to sell. Would I buy them again? Initially, I want to tell you no, I wouldn't buy them again for the sheer fact that they took so long to sell. I know $50 is a good return on investment, but I do think if I had a better SEO title, that might have helped them to sell a little bit quicker. I think jungle trousers is probably the actual style name of these pants, so that's why I have that in there. But other than that, I don't really have any other good SEO terms aside from the color and the fact that they are sheer. So had I done a little bit better with my SEO, perhaps those would have sold a bit quicker. My next and final Depop sale to share with you, Filson blue plaid button front technical fishing outdoor shirt, poly nylon, size large. This will for $36. I will make $32. It took 164 days to sell. Would I buy it again? I wouldn't leave it behind at the bins, but I wouldn't pick it up at a regular store. This particular style just doesn't do well from Filson. There's not many Filson things I would leave behind at the bins. Probably no Filson things I would leave behind at the bins, and this is one of them. Okay. The next platform we're going to chat about is eBay, but before we get into eBay sales, I was listing this frame silk blouse yesterday and it had no interior tags except for the brand tag. Even somebody had cut the size tag out. The fabric care tags were also missing. So I Google imaged it hoping that it would pull up the exact style name for me because I wanted to add that to my title for the SEO. And I noticed that someone on eBay had the exact same shirt, new with tags, thank goodness. So I went to their listing because they had a photo of the tag. So I wanted to see what the blouse was called. And I quickly got distracted because I noticed eBay had an AI model photo for this listing. But before I realized it was an eBay AI model photo, I just noticed there was a tie. I'll probably editing me. We'll have put it on the screen. A tie at the neckline. And I know my shirt didn't have a tie at the neckline. So instantly I was like, oh no. I bought a shirt that, somebody altered. Somebody cut the tie off of this shirt. No. eBay's AI generated model photo was wrong. There was no ties on this shirt. The person whose listing it was, although the photos they have aren't very good, you can tell there's no tie. So how, I wonder, would eBay go about handling if someone purchased that blouse? Because this person's was new with tags, so they were asking a premium, I don't remember off the top of my noggin, I'm sure I put it on the screen, but they were asking a pretty premium price for it. And what if they purchased it solely because they saw that tie on these? And that's another thing. eBay inserted this photo as the second photo of the listing. So what if somebody purchased it based on the fact that it's new with tags and based on the fact that they thought they saw a model photo of it and then received it with no necktie, would eBay honor an INADS case against the seller? And would it count against the seller and like hurt the seller's metrics and all of those things when it had nothing to do with them? I think I mentioned it before. I've seen AI model photos that eBay has generated on my own listings that I'm not aware how they got there. To my knowledge, I didn't click anything that said, go ahead and add model photos when you feel like it and make them the second photo of the listing. And that's another thing. They were the second photo of my listing. So I would love to know your thoughts, comments, concerns, opinions about that. AI model photos that are automatically generated by eBay and placed as the second photo of your listing that are wrong. Because we all know if you make model photos with AI, sometimes they come out completely wrong. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not so great. And this one just completely added a detail that doesn't exist. So I just would be interested to know how that would play out from a seller standpoint and from a buyer standpoint. Anyway, first eBay sale. Disclaimer, eBay has not been great, so I don't have that many sales from last week, but I will still take the sales I did make. Again, I'm going stretches of days without even a question, a low ball offer, nothing. Complete whole days radio silence on eBay. But I did manage to make a few sales. Tote Me, I don't know how to say this. I think it's Tote Me. Viscose Eco Blend Zip Leggings, black stretch pants, size medium, new attacks. They sold for $109. I'll make $100. These only took 12 days to sell. Would I pick them up again? Yes, I would. And I would pay up to $15 for this particular style. Would I pay up to $15 for everything from this brand? I'm not sure. I don't have that much knowledge on this brand, but I do know the retail value is very high and they seem to have a good, I would say it's like a quiet luxury crowd following. Next eBay sale. Sorry. Next eBay sale, Levi's 501 vintage faded black straight leg jeans, USA grunge thrashed, $34.30. These sold for my full asking price of $45. I will make $39. These took 1 hour to sell. Would I pick these up again? Yes, I would, but in this damaged condition, I would only pick them up at the bins. And I didn't say in the title, but I did say in words in the description, I literally wrote, please note, and I, wrote out in words what the damage was, but I also made sure to make, I think, 3 photographs center around this giant flaw. Basically, the booty of these jeans was like blown out. Kind of looked like it was just natural wear from someone wearing these jeans so much that they just wore away over time. And it wasn't like a gaping hole, but it was literally, I'll put I'm trying to explain it. I'll put the photos on the screen so you can see. There was a giant hole basically in the booty of these jeans and they took 1 hour to sell. I did find these at the bins and like I said, I would pick these up at the bins all day long. I am actually having a lot of fun picking up these as of late. I think this is the 3rd pair of damaged 501s that were made in USA. That is like the big asterisk for these. Made in USA. If they were made in Mexico, which I believe is the next place they started manufacturing jeans outside of the US, I don't know if I would have picked them up in damaged condition. I did just pick up a pair last week of made in Mexico Levi's, so they're not quite as old as this, but they are vintage. We'll see how they do. They don't have like damage like this. They do have like wear and, signs of having a life, but I did pick up a pair of Gramici belted pants though that have damage, kind of like this, and they are the twill cotton pants, and they are the built-in belt, made in USA, so they are vintage, so we'll see how those do. I haven't listed them yet. Anyway, these took an hour to sell, and everybody else that noticed that these were 501s made in USA, I'm sure passed on them because they had this giant damage. But this is, like I said, I think the third pair that I have sold this summer of damaged 501s, and they've all sold very quickly and for a good return on my investment. I want to say that's the most expensive of the three. Maybe. Anyway, next eBay sale. This is, okay. Antique figural filet lace round tablecloth topper, Angel's Chariot, 35 inches. Sold for $67. I will make $64. This took 1 day to sell. I think I had this listed for $79, so this was a very modest offer that came in on eBay within the first day of me listing it. Would I pick this up again? Yes, a million times over. However, I don't know. I wouldn't be willing to pay up for it at a regular thrift store just because I don't know that much about antique lace yet. I know a little bit about quilts now, but I don't know that much about lace. But I am absolutely going to be keeping my peepers out. I even have listed a few other lace things that I found with this, but this was the first thing that sold, and it sold so quick. On top of that, cost a quarter of what clothing does at the bins. Linens at our bins, I think, are 49 cents a pound compared to $1.99 for clothing. So this literally cost me basically nothing, So very exciting. Then that was all the eBay sales I have to share with you, and we're going to move into Poshmark. First Poshmark sale I have to share. Sims Armfania pants, UPF 50, fishing, hiking, gray, Gorp core, size small. These sold for $39. I will make $30. They took 77 days to sell. Would I pick these up again? Yes, I would, but I wouldn't pay more than $5 for them at a regular store. Next Poshmark sale. I almost said eBay. Next Poshmark sale. Blank London, Anthropology, Stephanie blouse, purple floral, cottage core, boho, size 2X. They sold for $29. I will make $22. This took 1 day to sell. Would I pick it up again? Yes, I would, but only at the bin. Next Poshmark sale. Patagonia, Capeline, cool daily hoodie, high hopes, geoprint, blue, white, size small. Size large. Sold for $35. I will make $27. This was a full price sale, and it took 2 days to sell. Would I pick it up again? Yes, I would, but I wouldn't pay more than $5 for it at the regular thrift store. Next, I sold this Nike Up in Air sheer crop jacket, white windbreaker, size large. If you will recall, this came from my own personal closet, but ultimately it was a bins find. This sold for $45. I will make $35. It took 66 days to sell. Would I pick it up again? Yes, I would, but only at the bins because this was just mainline Nike. It wasn't a collab. It wasn't Nike. Oh, what is it called? What's Nike's like high end? Not made and crafted. Every Stitch Considered. It wasn't Nike Every Stitch Considered, which is their higher end line if you did not know. So yeah, I would only pick that up at the bins. Next sale, Stio Outdoor Athletic Active Tapered Hiking Pants, Gorp Core and Oat, size 6. These sold for $49. I will make $37. They took 7 days to sell. Would I pick them up again? Yes, I would, but I wouldn't pay more than $8 for them. And that's for this particular pair of pants. I might be willing to pay much, much more for other pants from this brand. Some of their pants can vary in price, so it really depends on the style, the exact style for this brand, at least in my experience. Next sale, Mingualina Lace Gingham Crop Top Boho Coquette Cottage Core, size large. It sold for $50. I will make $39. It took 72 days to sell. Would I pick this up again? Yes, but only at the bins, just because I'm a little too unfamiliar with this brand. This was the first time I'd ever found this brand, and I really did pick it up based on style. So yeah, I would leave this for a bins find. And then last sale I have to share with you is very exciting. Ralph Lauren 80s vintage chambray button maxi skirt cottage core size 4. It sold for $116. I will make $89, and this only took 29 days to sell. Would I pick this up again? Yes, I would, and I would be willing to pay up to $15 for a similar vintage Ralph Lauren piece in this condition. This was in excellent condition with, I don't think I listed it with any flaws. So I would be willing to pay up for vintage Ralph Lauren, especially country adjacent Ralph Lauren. That was the end of the sales. But before we finish today's video, I want to show you a listing I came across this week, and I think it's a great example of why SEO matters so much. This is a new with tags in-season dress, and in my opinion, it shouldn't have much trouble selling, but I think the title is probably holding it back a little bit. So let's take a look at it together and talk about how I would rewrite it. It's a single color summer dress, which is absolutely a combination that buyers are actively searching for. But the current title starts with Ladies Beautiful Red. And while those words describe the dress, sort of, they're probably not the words shoppers are typing into search. If this were my listing, I'd want the title to lead with the most searchable keywords first. Something more like flying tomato, red, off the shoulder, peasant boho dress, lace trim, new with tags, medium. That gets the brand first, includes the color, style, the fact that it's new with tags, and the size. All things buyers are much more likely to search for. Sometimes a listing doesn't need a lower price, it just needs a stronger title so the right buyers can actually find it. If you're a reseller too, how were your sales this week? I love hearing what you all are selling and what platforms are doing well for you or not. Like I said, eBay still continues to be very slow for me with entire stretches of multiple days in a row with no interaction whatsoever. So that's a little concerning. Depop has been popping though, so I'm very, very excited about that. I've had more Depop sales in the last 2 weeks, I would say, consistently than I would say my entire stretch as a Depop seller. And I've sold close to, I think, 600 or maybe it's 550, maybe closer to 550 items on Depop now. So love that. I hope that continues to be the case. I would love to have Depop become my number one platform. Not only, mostly because there's no seller fees, but because the buyers on Depop are great. I've had so few Depop negative interactions that I can barely remember them. On eBay, it's not the case, and on Poshmark, that's not the case, though. Jeez. It's like I said, it's mostly my head, but then it's also you get a tickle in your throat and you just start choking. I think I was going to say, before I started choking, I was going to say Poshmark has been holding strong, I would say, and I say that lightly, holding strong for me, even though we are in the time we shall not mention. Yeah, I would say Poshmark is pretty regular, which is always great to have something you can semi-rely on. And Mercari is quiet as ever. I literally made no Mercari sales last week, but that's not surprising to me at all. I have had so many comments, though, about Vinted, and I will say the only caveat for me with Vinted is if I start listing things on Vinted, I will have to manage that inventory somehow separately from NIFTY. And the way I have my inventory all on NIFTY now, every ounce of my body does not want to manage any inventory outside of that ever again. It's just so easy, and it's a system I know now, and I don't want to have to think about. Yeah, so if Nifty added Vinted, I would definitely give Vinted a try. I have completely stopped cross-listing to Whatnot because I never had any interactions over there, so I just I completely stopped doing that. But I would give Vinted a try if it came to Nifty, so we shall see about that. Anyway, I will let you go now. If you took the time to watch this video and you spent your social media currency with me today, I so appreciate you. And if you wouldn't mind just hitting like on your way out, that would be awesome. I'll see you next time, friends. Bye.